It's now 13 minutes past 8, and time to talk issues of the week. We do it with T-Radar. Good morning to you, T-Radar.
And good morning to you, Wammo, and what a lovely sort of late autumnal, early winter, damp morning it is.
Isn't it? A very noisy evening, especially around Auckland last night with the thunder rolling across.
The cat.
Yeah.
It's always, you always sort of sit there and go, what is that? And you go, oh, that's nature. Lovely nature.
And it does seem like, I know because you've been out of the country, but it seems like a wee while since we've had a good old thunderstorm. So I welcome that.
Yes, Travis Bickle would say, to wash the scum off the streets. Taxi driver, and I'm sure there's people around the country thinking that, so it's one of those lovely mornings where you can sit inside and have an egg toasted sandwich and a cup of tea and peruse the news, and it's often the same. And I imagine there's some people who are probably not feeling all that smug at the moment about the fact that when we had this big hoo-ha about building stadiums, and Dunedin was particularly sort of fractious. A lot of people down there not wanting their stadium, saying, look, it's going to be a white elephant, it's going to cost us a fortune, and all the pro stadium people go, it's nonsense, it's going to be fantastic for the province, etc., etc. And now it's coming out, of course, that they've made a $1.9 million loss in 6 months, and the ratepayers have to bail it out. And a little bit of a protest here yesterday where people took these signs, and held them up in the council meeting saying resign to the people who supported it. But regardless of whether or not you said, hey, I don't think that's a very good idea, it's going to cost us money, you're still going to be paying for it out of your rates bill. Yeah,
and part of the issue, I guess, is not enough stuff going to Dunedin to be held there. I saw a tweet, yes, I don't know if it was true, I didn't sort of look behind it, but apparently Coldplay can't play at the stadium because the airport runway isn't long enough for their aeroplane. I don't know about the truth of this.
Yes, I did enjoy the fact, the pun that if Coldplay did play in Dunedin, it would be cold playing. Not some of my best work, I will admit, but I did think, wow, poor Dunedin missing out on Coldplay. They must be gutted. In the same week that this is coming out, of course, I think John Keys suggested that maybe Christchurch could do with a nice big covered stadium, and that would be just the thing to get the city back on its feet.
Yeah, just the thing, eh? Because everyone's lives revolve around sport in Christchurch. Yes. Apparently so.
And it was certainly quite a morale booster, I think, when the Canterbury team played recently, back there for the first time in a couple of years, and people were very excited about that. But Howes Bells, I think you'd be pretty excited about anything major occurring down there, as you head into yet another winter.
Okay, well, moving on from that to something completely different, German and Chinese cannibalism, T-Radar?
Look, it's been big in the news, actually. You may remember a couple of years ago, there was a German cannibal called Armwin, I think his name was, and he advertised for someone who wanted to be killed and eaten, and he received several replies, finally meeting someone who he killed and ate. Actually, he didn't kill him immediately, he cut bits off him and they ate bits of the guy together, and then he killed him and ate him. And I don't think he could be charged with murder because it wasn't actually murder. The guy said, look, I'm quite into this. So this week it's come out again that there's been another case in Germany where there's a politician. Of course, it had to be a politician. He had a mate who was getting divorced, and so he advertised to find a cannibal who would get rid of this guy's wife and daughter. And because it was Germany, received several replies. One of which he took up, but unfortunately for him, that turned out to be an undercover policeman. So, and they're saying actually in Germany, there's an enormous number of cannibals.
Right? Really? What about?
Yeah.
But what about this? What about China?
Well, China this week has come out. They seized a whole lot of pills that were being taken into South Korea, filled with the flesh of fetuses or dead infants, powdered up. You put it in a pill with some various herbs and things to describe the apparently very distinct aroma of human flesh, and you take that as a supplement. So they're trying to crack down on that because the Chinese tend to take a lot of odd sort of supplements of octopus testicles and deer velvet. Although we're also fairly big on deer velvet here in this nation. But yes, the human the baby pills, and you kind of think, at what point in time do you think, I feel like some rejuvenation?
Yeah.
You know what I think will do it?
Yeah.
Baby flesh.
Yeah, because the tiger penis didn't work.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a mad world, but we shouldn't be too, I guess, sort of, one-eyed to it. This is a terrible segue to one of my favourite stories of the week. Not affecting you or I because of our hair is, I suspect, gradually receding back further and further towards the top of our heads. But for the emos, they have in particular other people, that fashion statement, they've got the hair over one eye.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, that could cause you to have a lazy eye for the rest of your life. You've sheltered behind your hair in that kind of, am I here? Am I not? I'm mysterious. And you could get amblophia.
Huh.
Amblophia. I don't know. It's
lazy eye.
Lazy eye.
I never having had hair sort of long enough to drape over the eye, I have always wondered how people get on with that, because it wasn't just the emos, but the haircuts down through the ages have had sort of hair over the side of your face, and I always just wondered, because it's so annoying, it must be annoying, you just want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I guess normally your face would react to it, but as your eye gets lazier, it has less desire to go, oh, this is annoying. It's sort of, and you gotta wonder, is it worth it? But who would believe, if you're at school and your teacher says there's some, adult in control, says don't do that, you'll get a lazy eye, you'll go, don't.
Yeah, right. It's like the wall, don't do that, the wind will change,
Exactly.
Yeah.
My other...
I just thought that I didn't know you were going to go into segue into that. I thought the segue would have been eating while driving. T-Radar from the cannibalism.
We've banned the use of cell phones because it's distracting while you drive. But apparently, eating is even worse. And they've done various studies on this. But this week, there was a chap in the States. He was seen driving erratically. They pulled him over. He had in his lap a whole rotisserie chicken, or at least what was left of what he hadn't eaten.
Brilliant.
He was attempting to eat this hot rotisserie chicken while driving down the road.
I understand that. I get it.
Two of the great pleasures in life: rotisserie chicken, and driving.
The two put together, awesome. Oh, can you imagine hitting the highway with that rotisserie chicken on your lap?
Oh, and you'd be warm. If it's a day like this, there's nothing like a warm rotisserie chicken just sitting there in the nook of your driving lap with your little fingers dipping in and out and pulling some of that hot chicken off. A bit of crispy skin, a drumstick.
You'd want a little bowl of water on the passenger seat as well, like a little dipping water, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Or you'd put that in your cup holder.
Yes, that would work. Absolutely.
Yeah, in the States, you could get one of those 64-ounce cups, so you could basically use it as a basin. Some warm water. Just a napkin, perhaps.
Well, I suppose either driving a car or a truck. I suppose you'd imagine the truckies would be, doing this kind of eating while driving all the time.
You'd imagine so. There they are on cruise control. I suspect it didn't happen to the... did you see the young 14-year-old kid who stole his dad's truck?
Yeah, I heard about that. He took it for quite a distance, didn't he?
175 k's. And his father said, I think, he reported his truck stolen. He said, I think it's my boy. And what's astounding is that he drove down to his mum's house in Timaru, and she never said, oh, how'd you get here? Oh, I'm just in Dad's $200,000 truck. And then drove further down to his grandparents' place, and they didn't go, how'd you get here? Oh, I'm just in Dad's $200,000 truck. And then he turned around, he drove all the way back up to where it was, and the police got him on the outskirts of Timaru. They'd been looking out for him, but obviously quite a clever little kid. He had the work shirt on, so he stopped and got some petrol with the company fuel card and the work shirt. So the police are going to obviously they're thinking about prosecuting him, but thank goodness nothing happened. All power to him, I say.
Yeah. How old was he? 14.
He was 14 and he'd learned to drive trucks by, he was washing them in his sort of dad's yard, so he'd drive the trucks, short distances backwards and forwards.
Of course we wouldn't...
And off he'd been on the road in a big sort of, in a big rig.
Of course we wouldn't be applauding him if something had gone wrong, T-Radar.
Oh, no, we wouldn't have. No, that's true. I wonder if he got on the RT. Do they still have them? The CB radios?
And do the seats still bounce around? Do they sort of, do they work independently to the... on springs to the trucks.
Yeah, I think the whole cab does.
Yeah.
whole cab sort of bounces up and down. They're pretty high tech these days.
Aren't they? Yeah, fully air conditioned, big stereo systems, and a rotisserie chicken holder.
Yeah, I saw a thing on that on a really good science program on TVNZ7 the other day.
Yeah.
And if you are concerned about that, some of the rallies happening around the country, I think Auckland's one is tonight, chaired by